In a quiet factory on the outskirts of Detroit, the sound of wrenches echoes through the air. Workers slowly dismantle an American icon, the Ford F-150. But this isn't just another teardown. This one is different. Each part, each bolt, each tiny component tells a global story, one that's suddenly under threat. Because of one policy, Trump's auto tariffs. To most people, tariffs sound abstract. They're just numbers on a news ticker, political talking points tossed around in debates. But to those who live and breathe the auto industry, they mean something very real: jobs, costs, and the future of American manufacturing. So, what happens when you take one of America's best-selling vehicles, the Ford F-150, and examine where every piece really comes from? You get a crash course in how global trade truly works. The F-150 is proudly American-designed, built, and loved across the United States. But hidden beneath that patriotic badge is a global supply chain that stretches across dozens of countries. The aluminum panels may come from Canada. The electronic control modules might be sourced from Mexico. The sensors and chips could be made in Taiwan, Korea, or even China. The transmission components? Some are produced in Japan. Each part of this truck tells a story of collaboration, the world's economies coming together to create something powerful, efficient, and reliable. But now, that delicate web is being tested. Trump's proposed auto tariffs aim to bring manufacturing back home by imposing massive import taxes on foreign-made components and vehicles. On paper, it sounds like a bold move to protect American industry. The goal? To encourage automakers to produce more parts domestically and rely less on foreign supply chains. But when you peel back the layers, like we did with the F-150, you begin to see the ripple effects. If tariffs are applied to imported materials like aluminum, steel, and semiconductors, the cost of every truck built in America could skyrocket. Experts estimate that tariffs could add anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 to the cost of building a single vehicle. And those costs rarely stay with the manufacturer, they roll down to the consumer. Meaning the next time you walk into a dealership, your favorite pickup truck could be thousands of dollars more expensive. Now, here's where things get complicated. Many American auto workers support the idea of tariffs. They want more jobs at home. And it's true, the past decades have seen a wave of outsourcing that hollowed out towns once defined by factories. Trump's message resonates: build it here, buy it here. But the reality is that today's auto industry isn't just American, it's globalized by design. Bringing it all back home isn't as simple as flipping a switch. Building an F-150 entirely from US-made parts would require massive new investment in domestic factories, training, and resources. And that doesn't happen overnight. When you tear down the F-150, you find components stamped with markings from all over the world, parts optimized for performance, cost, and availability. Each was chosen carefully, often after years of supplier partnerships. Replacing them all with US-only suppliers could take years of development, billions of dollars in capital, and likely higher prices for consumers. So while tariffs may create leverage against foreign competitors, they also create pressure within, forcing American automakers to adapt fast or risk losing their edge. For companies like Ford, this moment is critical. The F-150 isn't just a truck, it's their heart and soul, a symbol of American strength and innovation. It's also a massive source of revenue, accounting for billions in annual profit. A sudden disruption in its supply chain could ripple through Ford's entire financial structure. And this doesn't just affect Ford. General Motors, Toyota, Honda, Stellantis, they all operate massive plants in the US, but depend heavily on parts from Mexico, Canada, and Asia. Tariffs could shake their operations just as hard. In this teardown, one thing becomes clear: the modern auto industry is like a finely tuned engine. Each gear, each part, each connection keeps the whole system moving. Introduce friction in the form of tariffs and suddenly, everything slows down. But supporters of Trump's policy argue that this short-term pain is necessary for long-term gain. They believe tariffs can revitalize domestic manufacturing, create thousands of jobs, and reduce dependency on foreign nations. They see it as a patriotic push, a return to Made in America. The question is, can America rebuild what it once had? Over the past 3 decades, the US auto sector has evolved from self-contained manufacturing to a North American ecosystem. Under NAFTA and later the USMCA, parts could move freely across borders. A transmission built in Mexico could easily end up in a Michigan-assembled pickup. Tariffs now risk unraveling that cooperation. Let's imagine the real-world impact. A small supplier in Ohio that makes seat frames depends on imported steel from Canada. With new tariffs, their material costs rise. They pass that on to Ford. Ford, in turn, has to raise the price of the F-150. Dealers raise theirs too. Consumers hesitate. Sales drop. And that small supplier? They lose orders, maybe even jobs. This is the hidden chain reaction behind tariffs, unseen, but powerful. Meanwhile, foreign automakers that build cars in the US, like BMW in South Carolina or Toyota in Kentucky, face the same challenge. Their operations rely on imported precision parts. Tariffs could make their vehicles less competitive, pushing them to relocate or cut production. And globally, other nations don't stay silent. If the US imposes tariffs, trading partners often respond with their own. Retaliatory tariffs could hit US exports from cars to agricultural goods. Suddenly, the global market feels a chill. But here's the irony. While tariffs aim to protect American jobs, automation continues to quietly reduce the need for human labor in car factories. Robots, AI-driven assembly, and advanced robotics already dominate much of the process. Even if manufacturing returns, it might not bring back the same number of jobs. So, the F-150 teardown isn't just about steel and bolts, it's a mirror reflecting a much bigger question. Can America thrive in a globalized industry by trying to go it alone? Still, there's a political dimension too. Tariffs are popular talking points. They are simple, direct, and powerful in messaging. Protect our workers. Tax foreign imports. It sounds patriotic. But the actual mechanics are far more nuanced, and the F-150 proves it. You see, when we look at that truck stripped down to its core, it's not just American, it's internationally engineered. A testament to how interconnected the world has become. The seats might come from Mexico. The sensors from Korea. The chips from Taiwan. The steel from Canada. Yet all these elements come together in an American factory built by American hands, driven by American pride. That's the reality of the modern auto industry, global collaboration powering national success. And when tariffs disrupt that balance, it's not just companies that feel it, it's consumers, suppliers, workers, and even innovation itself. Higher costs mean less money for research and development, slowing progress in electric vehicles, autonomous tech, and sustainability goals. So as policymakers debate tariffs, engineers continue their work trying to keep production efficient, affordable, and forward-looking. The teardown of the F-150 revealed more than just where its parts come from. It revealed how fragile the global system is and how every decision, every tariff, every policy can shake it. As America stands at this crossroads, the question isn't just about economics, it's about identity. What does it mean to build something American in a world where every innovation is shared, every part is connected, and every truck tells a global story? Maybe the answer lies not in isolation, but in balance. Protecting domestic strength while embracing global partnership. Ensuring fair trade, not trade wars. Building smarter, not just cheaper. Because at the end of the day, whether that badge says Ford, Toyota, or Tesla, every bolt, every wire, every innovation represents a planet working together. And that's something worth protecting.